deeply into the lives and desires of its female characters, but Richard's presence kind of brings a nuanced perspective on masculinity. How does his journey complement women's stories?
Great question. Great question. How it complements, I don't know if I can. It's my place to speak on how it complements. I don't know, but I was just glad that they decided to include uh, Richard's perspective to the extent that they have. I mean, it's obviously taken from the source material of the book by the same title, Three Women, and based on these real life people. But you never know how writers and directors will tell the story. But I was very excited to see that. And you're right, it is a different take on masculinity in that Richard, my character, loves Sloane, his wife, so much that she's very free and very open and very fluid. And she has different ideas of what she wants to explore in her life sexually. And he's open to it. His openness does not come without resistance and reluctance and without internal conflict. And to me, that was fascinating to explore. What does that do to you, to someone in a relationship? How does it make you feel, and how do you express that?
Well, the relationship that your character Richard has with Sloane, played by DeWanda Wise, is the two of you are just brilliant on screen. It's central also to the series. How did you and DeWanda approach building the chemistry and the trust you all need to have such an authenticity to depict this intimate and complex relationship?
No, well, thank you very much. I think we have very similar approaches to the work, and that is do your homework, and then when you come to the set, you have to stay open and free to do your best work, to try things, to explore, to fail, and to find and discover new things. And that was our approach to the work. Um, I think we're both very open with the way in which we have to discover a character and discover moments and discover a character arc. And what we both understand and understood was you can't find any of that if you're not free to make mistakes and if you have obstacles in your mind, being uptight about certain things. So, there's always a parameter in the professional world that you work in. We have intimacy coordinators, but within the constructs and the confines of that professional work environment, you have to be free. And that's how you find, to your question, that's how you find a chemistry and to find an authenticity, to make people feel like, so the audience feels like what they're watching on screen are real people.
Richard and Sloane's marriage is tested when they do allow these new people to enter their lives. What do you believe drives Richard's decisions throughout the series, and how do you see his actions reflecting sort of the broader themes of desire and loyalty that three women possess?
Hmm. Richard's, I think there's a certain amount of freedom that it brings to their relationship. But I have to tell you, I just really feel, and I felt this because I'm not a member of the polyamorous community, but I learned a lot in playing this character. And I think Richard, it's the first time he's ever tried this type of open relationship, and it was very difficult for him. And I think I very much wanted to express that, and I think we captured that. That even though his objective and his want and what he does is he allows it to happen, with his blessing, but it's very painful to him to allow that to happen. He's not just like, so they're both hippies and let's just be free love, free love. He's like, no, 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 I'm not really feeling this, but I love you, and if you want to do this, let's take this journey together. So I just found that was just an amazing thing to explore. It's not something that works for me. It doesn't fit for me and my wife, but many people do explore that, and I from an acting standpoint, it's golden. Actors look and savor characters that are very different from yourself, so you can discover and explore something new.
Your character and is so complex. What are some of the challenges or maybe surprises that you encountered when you were trying to explore those complexities?
Mm. Yeah, he's pretty complex. I think that the challenges are there. I think the greatest challenge is embracing the journey. I think the greatest challenge is being open to whatever makes her happy. You know, whatever makes Sloane happy is going to make Richard happy, and he's all in like that. But that's I think the challenging part to really be okay. You know, if you love someone, it's easy if you don't love someone. It's you know, be with whoever you want to. You know, it makes you happy. It's cool. It's a very different dynamic and unique dynamic when that person has your heart, um, and he puts everything on the line for her, but yet she wants to do this and to love her like that, to not to villainize her for wanting to be that person. It's just who she is, and he's got to be okay with it. And the challenge, I think, was to find that place and that fusion of where he really is okay with it, because there is conflict, and there are times he is fine with it, and there are other times when, like when she goes outside the context of what they've established are the rules. Like, you know, as long as I can see what you're doing, whoever you're with, and maybe I'll indulge myself. But to go outside of that and not tell me you're with somebody, meeting somebody on the side, that looks and feels and is too much like betrayal.
Very self-aware character. Must be intriguing
trying
to
to be, trying to
somebody.
be evolved.
Yeah, he's very evolved. That must have been quite what drew you to this initially as well, then.
Well, yeah, because I'm not that evolved. So, so
I am not that evolved either.
and
Grown
don't want to
woman.
be that evolved. But to each his own. To each his own. And that's the great thing about acting. You are acting like someone else. You are behaving like someone different than yourself. Nobody wants to play yourself.
Pretty Women tackles bold and often taboo subjects regarding relationships and sexuality. What do you find the most compelling part about the show's narrative, and how do you hope your portrayal of Richard sort of contributes to that conversation?
I think the most compelling thing is the fact that you're dealing with really four women, because you have Gia, the writer, um, uh, writing about these three women. Is it's all about change and evolution, and making radical decisions in their lives, you know, to find happiness ultimately. Each one of them have their own journey where they're trying something radically different than what they're used to. And I think Richard is a part of that conversation, a part of that narrative, because he's doing just that as Sloane is trying to break out of whatever her norm is. And you know, when you meet us, we're already in this lifestyle, so that is their norm. But yet she feels something very different from Will's character, this man that she meets, we bring into the bedroom, and then she wants to go beyond that, you know, and then that betrayal lane, and spend more time with him. So she's doing something radically different than our norm that is non-traditional.